Peter was considered a pillar and a leader. In his move to apostasy, which this is apostasy, it's falling away from the faith, the other Jews followed ranks as well. They feared that they would lose the approval of other Jews, caring more about what man thought than what Christ offered to them. This became such a strong movement among the Jews that even Barnabas, the son of encouragement, was carried away with their hypocrisy. Barnabas had traveled with Paul on a missionary journey, evangelizing Jew and Gentile. He had received the commission for this while at
Jerusalem.
No, Antioch. Paul and set aside Paul and Barnabas. It was, what's that? I don't know. Let's check it out really quick. He wants to know where so that we can, we want to, probably some. No, it would be after Paul. He went with Paul, so it has to be chapter 10 or somewhere around there. Set these apart and, I don't know, 10, 11, somewhere around there. We'll find it very quickly. Might even be later because it's got to be because Paul is really introduced in the narrative in 13. So we're going to find this really quickly. It says it's at Antioch and probably 13, then having fast. Yeah, there it is, chapter 13. Now in the church that was at Antioch, there were certain prophets and teachers. What's that? Yeah.
First verse.
Yeah, who were called Barnabas, Simeon, who was called Niger, Lucius of Cyrene, Manaen, who had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul. As they ministered to the Lord and fasted, the Holy Spirit said, "Now separate to me Barnabas and Saul for the work to which I have called them." Then having fasted and prayed and laid hands on them, they sent them away. Okay, so there you go. It was 13. It has to be because that's really when Paul, his ministry began, is in 13. I mean, there's other things that are going on, chapter 9 especially, but this is where they were commissioned and sent out. So he's commissioned in Barnabas had traveled with Paul. Here, I've got it written down right here. On missionary journey, evangelizing Jew and Gentile. He had received the commission for this while at Antioch. The commission and the missionary journey fill all of Acts 13 and 14. And their work comprised countless miles and encompassed a host of areas. Both Jew and Gentile were preached to, and there was intimate fellowship with all who received the gospel. Acts is such an encouraging book. It's such a beautiful book. Through all of this, Barnabas had seen the power of the Holy Spirit and had been a close participant in all that occurred, all of it. In verse 2:5, Paul noted that Barnabas had held fast through previous challenges by the false apostles. Okay, we'll go back there and read that again, just so you can see it. 2:5, to whom we did not yield submission even for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. So they held fast, and then all of a sudden Peter starts to waffle. What happens when you have one waffle? Another one joins in on the skillet, and now you've got two waffles, and pretty soon the whole skillet is full of waffles. No waffling. We don't want that. And let's see here. Challenges by the false apostles. He stood strong and defended the gospel of Christ. If anyone should have had the conviction to stand against Peter's hypocrisy, one would think it would be him. But such was not the case. He weakened in his devotion to the truth of the gospel and fell back on the law. Okay? And you got to figure that now. And obviously the Lord knew that this was going to happen, but what would have happened if Paul wasn't there? Everybody would have just departed. Paul would be standing there all alone saying, we've already resolved this, and we're going back to this again, right? Christ took care of this at the cross, and he's standing out there, a lone voice calling out, but it didn't happen. Paul at least was there, and he was able to turn them back.